and Michaela Purdue. As they all get situated here, we'll get an opening comment from Coach, and then we'll raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone, ask for name and attribution. Chris, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Well, proud of our team for what we've accomplished this year, and being able to make it back here for a sixth straight time is pretty remarkable. A lot of things to be proud of. We just didn't have it today, in large part because Purdue-Fort Wayne played great, and we knew that how they could beat us would overpower us and beat us up in the paint, which happened, and from the three-point line, which happened. And we just have to be better in the moment. It's really, really hard to win here. We have a bunch of players that know that. We just didn't have it today, and they did.
All right, with that, we'll get questions for Coach or for the student athletes. Got a question, please raise your hand. Go ahead right here. Name and attribution, please.
Kyle Rossi, Horizon Roundtable. Coach, either player, back in Fort Wayne, you played maybe top to bottom your best defensive game of the year and ended their winning streak. What changed between then and today?
I think it's called the game basketball. You have to be in the moment, and you have to be better than what we were today. And we started the game at Fort Wayne really well, and I think that kind of stunned them, maybe put them back on their heels a little bit, and then the exact opposite happened today. They got some open looks. We made some real big mistakes right at the beginning of the game that allowed them to hit some shots, and then I think it put us back on our heels. And you just have to be better than what we were today. And the game is amazing, but boy, it can be so cruel. And it'll chew you up if you're not ready to go. We just didn't do enough today to win.
All right, more questions for Coach or for student athletes? We'll get some more takers here. Coach, I'll ask you a question to kind of get us going. Obviously, it's the second year in a row where you guys have had to deal with a major injury early in the season. Your thoughts about your resiliency as a team to overcome that, get 24 wins, and get to this point?
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, but it's called life. I just got done saying it's called basketball. It's called life. It messed with our rotations all year. To lose a player like that can impact the game on both ends of the floor is significant, but it also has a ripple effect on everybody else. And Mickey's played more point guard in November and December than she did in her entire life. And we're not even to January yet. And it just forced players to play different ways. And, we just never had this thing exactly the way that we envisioned it because of the injury. And, you can make that as an excuse and find a way to feel okay because poor us, or you can just dig in and fight and find a way to have the third most successful season in the history of the school. Most likely we should get a postseason bid for the fifth straight time in the history of the school, which we'd only had 4 prior to that run. So there's so many things that we can talk about that this group showed so much toughness and resilience to be able to overcome it. But yeah, it's back-to-back years that we were never the team that we could have been up here. That really sucks. But it also is called life, and you just got to find a way to overcome it. And I'm proud of our players. I'm proud of these two for, what they've gone through and the toughness that they've showed. Destiny to come back and have the kind of year she did with the major injury that she had is, shows who she is as a person. And, just proud of our players. This is not what we wanted, and we felt like we were better than what we showed today. But in the moment, you got to have it, and we just didn't.
Again, any questions? You want to, Kyle, get one? Go ahead.
Kyle Rossi again. Just for the two players, do you mind expanding a little bit on what Chris just said about trying to process the fact that, hey, you've had a great season and you're sitting there upset now, obviously, but is that something that's going to have to come a few months down the road maybe?
I don't know what you mean by your question. What do you mean by your question?
Well, like Chris just said, you had, the third best record in Cleveland State women's basketball history. You're back here for the 6th straight year, and now, you lost a game, and it kind of feels like the end of the world. But is it hard to maybe reconcile those two things?
I mean, obviously it was a tough loss. That's not what we expected to come and do or show. But I mean, I'm proud of my teammates. We got here another year. Like I said, it wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but we do have a high chance of getting another opportunity to play another game this year. So that's what we're going to be focused on now, and to win that.
Kyle, I'll answer that a little bit. You know, I always like to answer questions. I hope it doesn't take them very long, because what they did, a lot of programs would love to do. We've just created such a high expectation for what our program has that it's really hard to meet those expectations. But if you're not going to have those expectations, then the chase isn't worth it. We expect to come up here and we expect to win. We'll be back.
Any further questions for coach or players? Guys, congratulations on a wonderful season. I know that there is postseason basketball in your future. Best luck whatever the tournament that may be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.